Hey, this is Mike doing a repair on the 2001 Jeep Grand Cherokee heated seats. I'll try and kind of let you know what I'm doing here. There's not a whole lot of information. There's some information on the internet, and there's not really any YouTube videos on some of the problems that the 2001 Jeeps and sounds like a lot of the other Jeeps have had with the heated seats. And as you can see, I've already dug into this. Later on in the video, I'll try and go through and kind of piece things back together so then you can see how it goes together. And then, I didn't think about doing this until I got into it, so I have to start with where I'm at. But as you can see, I got the leather seat pulled back here, and you can see where it was actually the wires were broke and burned through. What a lot of people I've seen on the internet do is they have a little different seat with some Velcro and stuff like that, but this particular model 2001 Jeep, it's got the pad basically glued on with the wires actually in this fabric between the cushion of the seat and the cover of the seat. So I think what I'm going to do is, looking at how the wires actually run through here, you can kind of see the shadow of them. I'm going to just, I tried splicing in, you can see where it actually burned in a few other spots. I think what I'm going to do is, I'm probably going to cut this off here, abandon basically the wires from here back to the back of the Jeep, or the back of the seat. So then I should have enough wire to make a splice here, solder it, and try it out, button it up, and we'll go from there. Okay, so here's what I found. I did verify that this is all one loop or one circuit of wire, so I did just abandon these burn-offs, because I did do a splice in here earlier and turn it on, and I could see a couple spots, one here and one here, where it's just not worth it at that point. It seems like the wire is pretty intact up in here and around, so I went ahead and I don't know if you guys will be able to see this, but this wire is actually really embedded in that fabric there. So what I found the best thing to do was to just peel the fabric apart and get enough so I could pull some wire back through, make a splice. And God, that wire's tough to work with, so if you guys ever do this, you'll find out. So I'm going to just test it now. Turn the seat heater on high. Let's see if we get any smoking anywhere else. Feels like it's warming up, so that's a good sign. And this shouldn't be hot back here because this is the wire I abandoned. This is looking pretty good. Cool. Well, I'm going to let this run a little bit, make sure everything's kosher. If it is, I'm going to take this junction back apart, put some heat shrink tape on there, and then go ahead and do a solder. Actually, it almost smells like I'm running into something else, so I'm going to check it out and see. Okay, well, so much for that idea. I was hoping I was going to be able to keep, this much of the heating element wires back to here, so then I'd only really lose about a half a foot. But after I hooked it up and tried the seat heater on, just moving my hand around, I noticed that it went off and would come back on. So I decided to hook up the multimeter, and I got the leads hooked up and just roughly pushing over some of these wires. There's one spot in particular. Let's see if I can find where that is here. anyways, right in here somewhere it's losing continuity, and I'm almost wondering if I'd be better off just cutting it up here and making that splice. So I think I'm going to probably try and do that. You can see the of course now it's going to hold continuity, but well, anyways, I'm going to keep playing with it, check it out so a little bit more here, and then well, next time you'll probably just see a splice there. You know, this takes the brunt of getting in and out of the Jeep, and this is where it seems like you're going to expect the most trouble, so it might be best just to bypass that. Okay, so there's my really crappy solder joint. I just used some 6040 rosin coarse solder and cheap little solder gun I had. Put some heat shrink tubing on there. I'm going to slide over it. Obviously got a little warm right here from the solder, but you can see right now that's going to be too big for that wire. That wire is terrible stuff to work with. So I didn't do the splice up here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just try and see how this works. It seems like the continuity was there. It might have just been how I had them hooked up to my probes there. So we'll give it a shot. We'll get this thing put back together. So I got it really looking like a redneck fix now. Just trying to debate on what to do for a cover here. I could hot glue it down, that's what I think eventually I will do, but I wanted to be sure that this will work first, so I decided to put this actual duct tape on here. It's rated for heat, you know, you use it on duct work and stuff like that anyways, so the seat shouldn't get much hotter than a heating duct would, so it should be fine. Worst thing I can see that happen is if it does short through and catches or something in here, then I might get a burn through. But so I'm going to put this back together, give it a shot here, and what I'll do is I'll go explain this since I didn't record taking the seat apart to this point. What happens here, you have this bar that comes down, a little plastic piece, there's a tab back in here. This goes in here, another clip goes right up in here. But before you do that, you have to feed the wiring harness for the seat, for the heat, the power functions and stuff like that through here. And when I get it to that point, I'll show you the hookups on here. These are pretty simple. And then I'll also show you how to finish hooking up. It's all really simple. Finish hooking up the seat cover over the seat here. So the only thing I did have to do that I'll show you is the way this seat is built. There's some rod running through here, and then in the cushion of the seat itself there's actually some more rod. I don't know if you'll be able to see it down here. Sorry about the camera. But right below my finger, the cover is strapped onto this metal rod, and then there's some upholstery rings that are here, and I did take this one off. I just put that back on so things won't get loose there. So I'll get it back to another point and show you that. Got the seat cover back on, fed the wire harness through here. Just show you that clip underneath. This is how simple it is. It's kind of hard to see, but there's this. It's just one long black plastic clip here that goes on this rod. So all you gotta do is peel that off. Mine did have one upholstery clip that was on it over here. Needle nose pliers takes that off pretty simply. I'll show you the connections are pretty self-explanatory for the controls. The only one that's a little tricky is for the actuator for the recline on the motor. And see if I can get the light in here in a better spot. It plugs in this way. Oh, I probably can't see that very good. It's so black, but it plugs in this way. But what you don't see on the other side is this is what actually holds it in there. So when you take this apart, it just simply plugs in like that and snaps. So when you take this apart, you're going to actually have this green clip is going to be in on the back, side, right in here, and then you'll pull that out with a needle nose pliers, and you'll reach back here. You'll reach back and you'll push down on that tab, and that's what's going to be able to allow you to pull that out. If you're not familiar with that hookup, it can be a little tricky, but just remember, reach around on the back side and push down on that tab, so then it'll let go. You don't want to break anything off because it's a little bit tricky to get in there. If you do happen to break something and then it works loose, just not worth the trouble, so just take your time and do it right. I'll put this stuff back together here, and all it does is it bolts up with 2 longer bolts and 1 in the back, and I'll show you those after I make the connections. So this is for the lumbar support here, and then this is for the main controls of the seat. These are just simple press down and pull out style connectors. So that's it. That's a really cheap, probably temporary fix on a broken wire in a 2001 Jeep Grand Cherokee heated seat. One thing that maybe is good to note, try and move the seat up as far as you can and raise it up as far as you can to be able to access the side panel. Simply taken off with a screw here, over there, and then one right back here that you just access from the back seat. So it really takes longer just to diagnose the breaks in the wire than it does to actually do the tear down and the repair. So I'd recommend giving it a try. I looked at a number of different websites that sell replacement parts. Basically, it's a square inlay pad with maybe some side pieces, but then you have to get in even further, and I just didn't want to mess with those D-rings in there. So we'll try this first and see how that works, and hopefully it does. Helps to have a good multimeter to be able to check continuity on those wires in case your break wasn't as obvious as mine. Mine was pretty obvious. It had a burn through. So there you have it. Hope it helps. Appreciate it.